What's going on, Park Hoppin? It's Odin coming back with another video, and today we've got some theme park news for everybody, and that is that Cedar Point, again, one of my all-time favorite theme parks, is adding jobs and offering some pretty good and nice incentives to try and get some people to come back to work over the summer. As we all know, during the pandemic times, the theme parks got hit very hard, I would say probably hit one of the hardest, especially since many theme parks in general have a lot of outside locations, and many of them were forced to shutter their doors, and then when they were allowed to open, had a lot of restrictive mandates on size capacities and other things like that, which obviously cost them a lot of money. And so one of the ways that Cedar Point is trying to make sure it has enough staff for what they believe and what I think is probably going to happen to be a busy summer, since a lot of people likely are going to be wanting to get out, especially depending on what state they're in. If they can get out, get to Ohio to go to Cedar Point, they're going to want some people there. And so some of the things that they're offering are $20 per hour pay, which is pretty amazing for a part-time summertime gig. A signing bonus as well to attract employees. And so let me just say, if I was living anywhere near the theme park at this time of the year, I probably would be kind of tempted to take up on that $20 an hour. And signing bonus sounds pretty nice. But let's go ahead and dive into this story. So from Sandusky, in an effort to attract more seasonal employees, Cedar Point is doubling its pay scale for incoming workers to $20 an hour. The push to hire comes after an announcement last week that worker shortages have forced Cedar Point to reduce the number of days that it'll open in June. So they're doing this for a very practical reason. If they can't be open, they can't make as much money. And even though they will have to pay more to these workers coming in, it does mean that they'll be able to have more days open, more people in the parks, and that's going to, in the end, be more money. What is also interesting, and I'm sure something that some will probably bring up, is that, okay, then why couldn't you offer something like this in previous years when you had a booming business, when you didn't have to worry about restrictions and things like that? And I think that is a valid criticism to bring up, but still, pretty awesome to see that they are offering some pretty good jobs. So high school students especially, I feel, might get drawn to this because all they unfortunately care about is money, when we know there's much more important things. Apparently also Kings Island is raising their pay to $15 an hour for their part-time and seasonal positions as well. Cedar Point's opening weekend of May 14th to 16th drew mixed reviews, including numerous complaints on social media as visitors griped about food lines and some rides being closed. And yeah, I mean, if you were going to a park, obviously for me, I would probably have done the research to make sure that certain rides were open. However, if this is something that was not known at the time when people bought their tickets, and it was not really stated that certain rides would be closed, and I were to go, I would rightfully be pretty mad. And so for them to try to avoid that by bolstering their numbers, bolstering the people working for them, so that way they don't have to worry about that, obviously is a good idea. As it says here, park update, guests who have booked an overnight stay or have made ticket or season pass reservations will be contacted directly with further information. And it says here, we want to be sure we are delivering fun and memorable experiences to our guests. As we are seeing across a wide range of industries, the availability of labor continues to be a challenge. We've added more than 300 full-time year-round positions with benefits to our food and beverage team. We've introduced a $500 seasonal sign-on bonus for associates, and we're now increasing the 2021 seasonal and part-time wage for all positions to $20 an hour, a 100% increase over the 2020 rates. So not only do you get to work the seasonal position over the summer for $20 an hour, you also get a $500 signing bonus. Again, that's pretty impressive stuff. And I think that this is exactly what the business probably should be doing. If they are indeed, really finding it difficult to find people to work, then at this point, offering them positions at these types of prices will make them much more competitive than with other part-time jobs and other part-time labor. And, to work at a theme park, I myself have not ever worked on one or worked at one. I imagine it's probably a pretty, difficult job depending on where you're put, right? Because there are some people who probably have a lot of fun. You always see them working some of the best rides, having fun, having to hear the same themes all day. Again, I'm sure sometimes it goes and drives them crazy. Obviously, there's shifts that they will go back and forth on, but you then also have people that are going to be probably out in the sun for a lot of the time, outside in the heat for a lot of it, being treated poorly by guests who are not really the nicest people in the world. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why someone might not want to go into working part-time at a theme park when they could potentially be working for a similar rate or more at various fast food restaurants, which have also become a lot more competitive, offering a lot more money per hour. And obviously there's a lot of issues that still exist there, but hey, at least they are doing something at this time. Associates enjoy the one-of-a-kind office of Cedar Point as their workspace, complimentary tickets for family and friends, special events throughout the summer, the chance to forge friendships, learn new skills, extend beyond the summer job. While we've ramped up these recruiting efforts, we continue to adjust our operating calendar based on the availability of the labor. As a result, Cedar Point and Cedar Point Shores Water Park will be closed select days in June. We encourage guests to visit cedarpoint.com for more information. And so it looks like they are indeed trying to make things and to make the experience better by adding more workers, so that way less rides have to be shut down, and also lines in general can be not nearly as long because of not having enough people to work the various rides. Because when you think about it, if you don't have as many rides to go on, it means everyone's going to be flocking to the same places, and if you have a lot of people who just want to be able to escape, as trust me, I get the feeling. I know what it's like to look forward to the summer. One of the best experiences I've ever had was going to Cedar Point. Well, I think it was like the first or second time I'd ever gone. The first ride that we beeline to was Millennium Force. And when you went on that first massive drop down, it was just like all of the stress, all of the emotions that had been, holding you down for that year were just, instantly lifted away, and you forgot about all that. And so I understand wanting to have those experiences, and obviously Cedar Point has a very special place in my heart for that and for many other reasons, especially with its rides and the trips that I've been able to go on with friends, and again, to be able to build on those friendships by being able to spend time at these different places. It goes to say that the officials address opening weekend issues. In response to these complaints, Cedar Point officials acknowledged that they, like many businesses during the pandemic, were having trouble filling the normal staffing levels. In addition to hiring regionally, Cedar Point employs many J-1 visa workers who travel to the United States to work in the tourism industry, including at tourist venues in Sandusky, Port Clinton, and also Put-in-Bay. Yeah, and that's also an interesting factor that I think a lot of people sometimes forget. It's one that I think is more well known at places like Disney, where you typically have the various people working there. They have like the country that they are from on their work badge. Also, when you go to places like Epcot, you have a lot of people put into the different restaurants and places, whatever country that they are in at Epcot, and they typically have people from those countries there. But you don't really think about how, in an interesting way, it seems that theme parks are really a very common place that a lot of people from overseas come to work, to visit the United States, and the work that they do while they're here to get those work visas to visit as tourists is actually a lot of them working at theme parks. So that is kind of interesting to think about, and something that I think a lot of us probably haven't considered, having, for me, not been to a theme park in a while at this point, and also a lot of people, because of the pandemic, not being allowed to actually go to any of the theme parks. But with that being said, what are your thoughts about this? Are you in the Sandusky area? Were you able to go the opening weekend of Cedar Point? Are you upset to hear that they have certain days in June that are closed? Again, to me, a theme park being closed for a day is just not good, especially during the summertime. But also, what are your thoughts about them offering $20 an hour and a $500 signing bonus? Do you think that's going to work? Again, for me, if I was living in the area, I'd probably be drawn to that as well, seeing that as a teacher, I have time off during the summer. But let me know your thoughts about this in the comments section below. If you like this video, smash that like button. It really does mean a lot. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.